Hey there guys, how you doing? In this video we got a new toy slash project we're going to be working on. And what this is a Honda Rancher 420 4x4. I don't know the year, but it looks kind of close to that. And that right there is a 2003. That's a Rincon 650. Well, here you go on the back of the four-wheeler. Rancher electronic shift fuel injection. So this four-wheeler right here, I got it for free. No, I'm just joking. This four-wheeler is actually my neighbor's four-wheeler. He knows that I'm the guy in the neighborhood that like fixes all the go-karts and four-wheelers and lawnmowers and stuff and rides them down the road and things. He was riding this four-wheeler down the road and he wanted to stop and talk to me, so I talked to him for a little bit. He basically had an old pontoon boat that he traded in for this four-wheeler, so he's only had it for about 3 months. And he basically told me, as he put it, for me to put some finishing touches and give it a little look over. This thing has almost 2,000 miles. That's a trip odometer. And 460 hours. But at a first glance, the tires on this thing, the wheels and tires, are much bigger than stock. The tires on this Rincon are 25 by 8 by 12s, and the tires on this four-wheeler are 28 by 10 by 14s. It's definitely obvious that the previous owner took this thing through some really, really deep mud. There's a front light bar right here, which is a switch on the side. As you can see, that comes on. One of the front headlights are still in there, and the other headlight, the driver's side, is completely gone. You can see the winch up on the front, and it's actually a worn winch, and that's one of the things he wanted me to look at. He said the winch was kind of sticky. The hand brakes and the floor brakes don't work at all. The front ones work great, which these are hydraulic. At the back here, there's even a small storage trunk. Very, very small, not as big as the one on my off-road lawnmower. And under here you got the battery with all the electrical components and a redneck cap for the coolant reservoir tank. This is not a factory muffler. I think it's like an HMF exhaust pipe. Definitely is a lot louder. But yeah, let's have a little look in the airbox. So yeah, that looks pretty clean. The thing cranks up and runs perfectly fine. It shifts through all the gears and everything perfectly fine, so there's nothing really wrong with that. I did take it my back trails, and the neighbor said four-wheel drive didn't work, so I kind of backed up against a tree and just hit it, got the rear tire spinning a little bit, and put it in four-wheel drive, and the front diff doesn't engage. So obviously we're gonna have to fix that. But yeah, let's just look at this oil real quick. It's not too bad. I do think it does need to be changed. So the coolant, we take the radiator cap off. Wow, that actually looks pretty good. I thought it was going to be full of stop leaking crap. You can definitely see the snorkel coming up through there and where it sticks out and going up through there. So now I'm gonna work on getting these brakes fixed. See that top cable right there moving? The bottom one's for the floor brake. And here on the other side, you can see the floor brake. There's water draining from this brake drum. All right, y'all, sorry I didn't film, but literally this phone's about to go dead. But guess what? That is the outer cover of the brake drum. Look at all that sand and mud. There's the inner one. And now look at the whole thing. I mean, this thing was just buried in mud and water for God knows how long. Probably because they submerged this thing completely underwater. There we go, I got it loose now. Alright guys, got the drum on there, and I think I'm getting somewhere now because obviously that spins freely. And that locks up, so now I just got to adjust this cable. And hopefully when I apply the handbrakes and floor brakes, this is going to work properly. Alright, so I got the rear brakes as good as they are probably going to get. But that mud flap right there, when the wheel turns all the way right, it catches it, and it sounded like a busted CV axle at first, and I thought that was bad until I looked closer, and it turned out to be this right here. It's not absolutely perfect, but definitely better than what it was before. I zip tied the front of this down, so that way this will hold in place. And I also gorilla taped the seat back because it was a huge open area, and I figured it would, you know, just hold up a little bit better. So the next, probably one of the most important things, is getting this four-wheel drive working. All right, so here's what we're up against. As you see, four-wheel drive lever moves, and it moves this cable right here. And obviously that is super loose. So what we're probably gonna do is tighten this bolt so that way it'll move it over more and it'll engage the front diff. All right, so we got the bolt tightened, and right now it's a two-wheel drive. And it's four-wheel drive. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but I put a nut on the other side of that bolt right there, just so this bolt will not come loose again, because I think that's the reason it got loose in the first place. So yeah, we got four-wheel drive, buddy. All right, so real quick, I'm just gonna rip the spark plug out and just see the condition. Oh, here it is. Looks pretty good. I'm just gonna give it a little cleaning, throw some anti-seize on the threads, recheck the gap, and then just reinstall it. All right, so I just got out of school and I will now be running to my local Capital Cycle to get some oil and a oil filter to change the oil. All right, so before I change the oil, I'm gonna crank it up and just kind of let it run a little bit just so the oil gets warm and flows efficiently. Yeah, that does look pretty dark. So it's a good thing we're getting this out of here now. So got it clean right there, and I'm gonna do a cool little magic trick. Watch this, you ready? Boom. So I got the funnel ready, and here's the oil we are putting in it. So now I just got it idling. We'll let it idle for a little bit and recheck the level. That is absolutely perfect. All right, y'all, so I was just gonna check the differential fluid. What is that coming out of there? That is very, very, very thin differential fluid, because it's not differential fluid, it's freaking water. I mean, look at that. That is some disgusting crap coming out of there. Guys, look inside of there. It's kind of hard for you to see, but I can see in here. That crap is filled up with legit just mud. Look at all that disgusting crap. So I'm gonna do this several more times until I get it clean. All right, so I'm finished now. I did about 5 or 6 flushes. In the last one, I put a little bit of diesel and gasoline together, and you know, it seemed pretty close to clear. Not perfect, but you know, definitely got all the mud and other crap out of there. So now I got some ADW90 up there in the cabinet. I'm gonna refill the diff. All right, so we got it all jacked up right here, and no surprise, I drained the fluid and it was nothing but water. So yeah, I'm gonna do the gas flush treatment like I did on the rear. So since the fill bolt in there is in a very awkward position, what I got here is a RC car nitro fuel bottle filler thing. All right, so I got the front diff just like how I got the rear diff. It's pretty clean. It's not gonna be perfect, but much, much better than what it was gonna be before. So now I'm just gonna let it dry out a little bit, let all the fumes evaporate. Then I'm gonna put in the gear oil. I'm going to put a different one in because this is a limited slip. So one other thing I did real quick was I adjusted the clutch right here. Basically, when you get done with the oil change and run bigger tires, from some videos I saw, you're supposed to adjust that. So I unscrewed it to where I just felt a little bit of resistance and tightened it a quarter of the way back, tightening it up, and it seems to work pretty good. All right, so great news update. The whole front end of the foiler is pretty much torn apart, and that is so I could get the winch out. And the winch is currently sitting over here, dismantled, because when I was testing it out, it kind of went in a little bit and it started skipping and doing some other crap. I mean, this thing's been underwater. See the condition of that, as well as in the drum and this part right here. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna go through this whole winch, gearbox and everything and just clean it up and rebuild it. So we got the whole case and everything stripped down. There you can see the planetary gears right there. And those are freaking disgusting. And also got the main motor right here, and I'm gonna go around with some sandpaper and clean that up. I already cleaned up this side right here and basically rebuffed the points. So the motor has been fully rebuilt. So now let's move on to the planetary gear set. So we got the transmission parts and the drum sitting in gasoline to get rid of the big gobbledygook and load of mess of grease. So now I'm gonna turn in for the night and then come out tomorrow and finish it. All right guys, we got all the parts cleaned up here. So now I'm gonna get some grease and try to put this thing all back together.
This one over here ain't hardly doing nothing.
And there we got it, one rebuilt worn winch. That's out. And that's going in, so yeah, works pretty good. All right guys, so I finally got another headlight for the other side. I ordered another one, or a first one, and it was on the same side. I had to send that back and go through all that. So now I finally got this side, and I'm working on getting it in there, and it seems to fit in there pretty good. I gotta find a couple of screws or maybe a zip tie to bolt all this together. The bolt in there actually was already in there. So I'm gonna bolt this all together and hook up the wiring, see if the bulb works, and call it good. All right, y'all, so we got the headlight installed now. My brother's wiping the lights down to kind of make them look a little bit better. So let's turn on these headlights.
Oh yeah, looks nice.
That does look a lot better. So the final step now is giving it a wash. This is pretty nasty. All right, so it's all washed up, perfectly clean, ready to go back to my neighbor. So if I had it my way, there'd be a couple of little things extra I would do. First of all, I would lower the snorkel down to about here, just to make this thing not so obnoxious. I would probably put the radiator back in the factory location right there, just because I'm never really gonna be going in water like this deep in crap. The next big thing is probably put the factory size tires on here, because I do like the tread pattern, but they are just way too big for this thing. I mean, they keep scrubbing the sidewalls every time you turn, and it's super difficult to steer. So the factory tire size are just one size bigger would be perfect. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you got any useful information out of this, let me know in the comments, or let me know how your foiler is set up. and everything. So if you like this video, if you did, click other buttons so easy to say to click. If you didn't like this video, click on thumbs down twice, because 2's better than 1. 3 more doesn't work. That obviously does not count for likes. And yeah, y'all know the drill. Y'all should see me in the next one. There he goes, off in the sunset.